I love Molly. The more I analyze the depth of her mothering, the more overwhelmed with emotion I become. People post sentiments like this on discussion boards every day. The grief and fierce loyalty expressed in these threads feel entirely real, even when directed at completely fictional characters. That intensity bleeds directly into the real world. Following the tragic death of Indian actor Sushant Singh Rajput, several devastated fans cited an inability to deal with the grief as a reason for tragically taking their own lives, mourning a man they had never actually met. How is it that the human brain can experience such profound love and shattering grief for entities that do not even know we exist? The context for this is our digital environment. In India alone, the average person now spends roughly 5 hours every single day consuming media across various platforms and browsing the internet. At 5 hours a day, media consumption has become a dominant pillar of our waking lives. We are inhabiting a world where a massive portion of our social energy is directed toward human representations appearing on a screen rather than people in our physical vicinity. In 1956, psychologists gave this specific type of connection a name: the parasocial relationship. It describes a strictly one-sided emotional bond. A viewer invests affection into a figure, whether a human presenter or animated character, while the connection is transacted through a media platform. This is distinct from psychiatric syndromes like erotomania. A viewer in a parasocial relationship generally retains a rational understanding of reality. They do not literally believe the celebrity is their personal partner. These one-sided bonds are a structured psychological response to the modern world, allowing us to form attachments despite the lack of physical proximity. Our brains process these digital connections using the same psychological hardware as our real-world friendships. And like any physical friendship, they require active maintenance to survive. We voluntarily pour time and energy into keeping the connection alive. We binge-watch entire series on OTT platforms, follow social media updates, and attend live concerts just to be in the same space as our favorite media figures. Over time, we learn a character's specific quirks and reactions. This predictability builds a deep sense of intimacy. We feel we know them, creating a simulated sense of safety that mimics the comfort we feel around our closest real-world friends. Psychologists refer to this as the as-if characteristic. We know the actor on the screen isn't our actual roommate, but we allow ourselves to emotionally engage as if the bond were reciprocal. This provides an emotional shortcut. It allows us to experience the rewards of companionship and consistency while avoiding the social risks and potential for rejection found in real-world interactions. Why is the human brain so easily tricked into feeling intimacy through a piece of glass? The answer lies in a theory called the media equation. Our evolutionary hardware is ancient. For thousands of years, seeing a human face meant a human was physically present. We never evolved a natural mechanism to distinguish between a living person and a high-definition moving image of one. When a face looks back at us from a screen, it bypasses our logic centers. It automatically triggers hardwired, primitive instincts for attachment and empathy. We don't always choose these bonds. Our biology is essentially hijacked by the screen, forcing a genuine social response to digital light. For decades, parasocial relationships were defined by their distance. They were safe because they were strictly one-way broadcasts. Even then, the devotion was immense. When the series Ramayana aired in the late 1980s, Indian audiences would physically bathe and garland their TV sets before the show began, treating the broadcast like a religious communion. But modern interactive platforms and algorithms have hypercharged these relationships. They have added a layer of perceived access that didn't exist before. Take mukbang, the trend of influencers eating large meals while conversing with viewers. As single-member households increase, millions of people tune in specifically to use these presenters as surrogate dinner companions. When an influencer replies to a comment or hosts a live stream, the boundary between a broadcast and a genuine interaction is destroyed. The brain enters a loop of pseudo-reciprocity that feels more personal than ever. This process starts in early childhood. Toddlers today bond with animated characters long before they enter school, using them to learn social rules, language, and culture. In adolescence, these bonds become tools for identity. Teenagers take inspiration from pop stars and influencers to help them develop their own perspectives and sense of autonomy. By adulthood, we treat these figures like neighbors. In an individualized society, they provide a sense of steady, predictable companionship that supplements our physical social circles. Parasocial relationships are a fundamental entity in our modern development. From birth to adulthood, the virtual world has become a primary landscape where we form our most consistent social bonds.